Alright, what up y'all? It's Matt's Shop. So today I'm changing the O2 sensors on this 1998 Ford Ranger behind me. And I went to the parts store to get two O2 sensors. So I need two upstream O2 sensors because these ones are bad. And the prices were insane there. I'm not going to name names, but they were insane. So I went on Amazon and got them much cheaper on Amazon. So we'll get into more of that here in a minute. But like I said, I needed two upstream O2 sensors. And this isn't really going to be a tips and tricks video. If y'all want to check out that video, then look up here in the card because I'll link to it up there where I did all kinds of tips and tricks on removal and installation of O2 sensors. That's not what this video is going to be about. But yeah, those O2 sensors should be the same thing as what was in the parts store for a fraction of the cost, obviously. So these O2 sensors, I think they're the original O2 sensors to this vehicle, which means they are going to be stuck in there, and that's going to be a bucket of fun to get them out because they always are stuck because no one uses O2 sensors with anti-seize on them when they put them in, so they're going to be stuck for sure, so that's going to be fun. And it's like 90 degrees out here today, so I'm trying to get under the truck and cool off a little bit, so let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so I'm losing light a little bit here. It's gone behind the trees. Hopefully y'all can still see this here. But I already cracked the box open and we got 15717, 15717. These are Bosch O2 sensors. And we're gonna show y'all the tool here. Everyone knows about these right here. I'll put links in the description to all this stuff, like I said, where you can find it on Amazon. These O2 sensor removal tools are a real lifesaver. But you got the small one, and the only thing I don't like about this one is that's 3/8. That one is 1/2 inch. And that one's 3/8, but you can put a 12-point socket over this so you can index it, like you can get it in tighter spots with that 12-point on the top of that. This is the one I always end up using. I just hate it's 3/8 because I always need a breaker bar for them, so that kind of stinks because it's the smallest one. You can fit it in there the best, but oh well, what are you gonna do? If you're gonna buy one, make sure they're all like 1/2 inch. There's no point in getting a 3/8 inch. I mean, they made them out of impact steel, but impact sockets, but they made it 3/8 on those two, which is stupid. But don't get me started on that. O2 sensors. So let's see what we got in here. Yeah, on my other O2 sensor video, I'll post a link to it up here. Y'all talk mad. They talked mad, you know what, on me because they didn't like my tips. So I'm going to rehash what I said there and, you know, back myself up here a little bit. But, all right, so if you look here, it already has anti-seize on it. And they were telling me, don't put anti-seize on it. Don't put any. I'm like, dude, you know how many of these things I remove, they get stuck? You put an anti-seize on it. Just make sure it doesn't get on there. It's already pre-applied. I mean, it came in the package and people were saying don't use it, which I don't understand some people. But if you don't want to fight with these things, put anti-seize on it. Another thing I did that they didn't like was I put some dielectric grease in there. And I mean the tiniest little bit, you know, tiny bit, 1/2 of a pea, you know, less than that. Just enough to coat it, 1/4 of a pea. And, you know, just to help seal it up a little bit. The grease doesn't affect anything. It doesn't affect the resistance or anything like that. So, yeah, I put that in there. And they didn't like that because some of these sensors have a tube that goes from here to here. And it uses it as like a reference to ambient air, you know, just like air. So you got to use your discretion when you do these kinds of things. This one obviously doesn't. It gets it through the case or something through here. I don't know how it works. All I know is this one doesn't use this as a, you know, a tube to reference air. So to suck clean air at the back, I guess that's how they kind of work. Anyways, this one doesn't do that, so I'm putting a little bit of dielectric grease in here. I put my anti-seize and I'm going to screw them in. These are identical to the ones at the big box store. It's the same exact thing. It was the same exact packaging. 15717. This was like, I don't want to say, but maybe like 20% cheaper than the big box stores. You know, they have people, they have to, more people, and, you know, retail locations, obviously it's going to be more expensive. It's more expensive to run than like Amazon, but that's a whole different discussion here. It's the exact same thing. So yeah, get them on Amazon. So I have one right here that I already got out. Kind of skipping ahead in the video a little bit here, but I already have one that I got out, and it's the same thing. It's the right one. This is a Bosch one. This is an old one's a Bosch one. It's the same thing. So yeah, I'm happy with that for the price I paid for it. And apparently there's a rule on YouTube, you know, you don't ever say the price, but you know, say it was 50 bucks at the 55 at the box store, you know, it was 30 bucks or something like that at Amazon. It was, you know, price difference like that. It was 26 or something like that. So it was worth it. Your mileage may vary. All right, I'm going to show y'all me removing the sensors, and then I'm going to screw them in real quick here, and then that'll be it. So, all right, so you can see I'm doing the passenger side over here, and I took the plastic thing off so that I could get more access down in there. Here's the plastic thing. I laid it to the side. So I want to show y'all why I always put anti-seize on O2 sensors. So I ran this thing, got it up to temperature, got the pipe hot, and it's squeaking the whole way out. I've been spraying it with oil, It was impossible to get to without taking the plastic off. So this is why you put anti-seize on O2 sensors. And I'm balancing the camera on the tire here. I know it's shaky, but you hear that? The whole way out. It's gonna do it the whole way out. Finally. There it goes. I have been battling with this thing for a day. I let it sit overnight. This one's easy to get to. The other side, I'm gonna have to take the exhaust pipe off because it's impossible to get at. I'll show you that here in a second. Let's see what this is looking like. I damaged it. I tweaked the side of it here when I was taking it out, but you think that's why it's not running right? Maybe. Look how nasty that one is. So this is the passenger side, and that one's super easy to get to. You can see it's right there, but you just disconnect that wire and pull it out. But I'm going to show y'all what we're going to do on the other side, because I'm not trying to do this on the other side. So you can see the headers here, the collector, whatever you want to call it. I got my little light on here. Y'all are going to see dust bunnies, but it's all the way down in there, and you can't even see it. Let me point to it. It's all the way right there. See it at the top right there in the dead center of the screen. Good luck getting a wrench down there. I'm going to drop the collector. I guess that's what it's called, because it's easier to hit the thing with the impact from the back, drop it to the ground, and then take it out, because I'm not fighting this thing for hours like that. So let me get y'all set up and we'll get this one out. Alright guys, so I want to show you the setup real quick for this passenger side one. I was going to take the, you know, collector off, whatever it's called, but you can see that flange there, and then there's one on the other side, so I'd have to unbolt it from the headers completely. And I thought there was a joint halfway down the pipe, but there's not, so I had to do this the hard way. To get up in here like this, disconnect this little transmission mount right here, slide it out of the way. It's right there now, and I had to get up in there with the, you know, ratchet and a pipe on there, because I got to be able to ratchet, because the breaker bar won't fit up in there. So I just keep ratcheting it and ratcheting it and ratcheting it, and it's about to come out. And I'm not filming it, I'm sorry guys, but it's too hard to get up in here. This is the only way to do it on this truck, and it's impossible to get at any other way. So I'm just going to keep wrenching on it, and then we're going to replace them. All right, so some other tips people were telling me, you know, good ideas. Use a blowtorch to get the things out. I already knew that, you know, but I don't like putting heat up in there, especially right near the motor where all the oil is and stuff. That just makes me nervous. So they were saying, you know, cut them. Cut the thing here and put a socket on it and hit it with the impact. Well, good luck with that. You can't get in there with an impact. You know, cut it and put a regular socket on there so that the split socket, because sometimes these flex open, you know, put a regular socket on it. Those are all good ideas. Honestly, if you can get to it easily, I just cut the wires. You know, if you don't care about reusing it, or like, you know, say you put a new one in there and the old one, well, that wasn't the problem. You're screwed because you already cut it. You could resolder them back, but that's stupid. So you can cut them and just get a regular box wrench and put it over there, you know, so it doesn't strip it out. You put the closed in over that, the circular part of the wrench. All great ideas. It all just depends on your application. But these, this has a little bit of anti-seize on the tip here. I'm going to clean off. All right, so I'm just going to screw this thing in. So people are also asking me, you know, what the deal is with like the upstream and the downstream sensors. The upstream is before the cats. The downstream is after the cats. So the upstream sensor senses, hold on, let me check this before I mess it up. The upstream sensor senses, you know, that adjust the fuel-air ratio, you know, for the motor to run properly. The downstream sensors after the cats, they are for emissions, and you know, it probably gets way more complicated than that, but that's the general gist of it. In my mind, if it's not running properly, I'd go for the, you know, look into the upstream sensors first, especially if that's what the codes are saying. So here's an example of some of the codes. This isn't the most recent one, I couldn't find it, but what it says right here is the cylinder 3 misfire. That was because the spark plug was all messed up. HO2S11, HO2S21, those are both upstream sensors, and you can look at a chart online or a picture and you can see which one is which. But yeah, these are the two upstream sensors, and the heater circuit, bank 2, sensor 1, that's this side. That's another O2 sensor problem, so that's why we have new ones. Alright, so I'm going to get this thing tightened up. Be gentle with that thing, they're delicate. Dielectric grease, just the tiniest little bit to help that O-ring seal. I'm gonna have to get in there and clip it up. Alright, that side's done. I just gotta clip it up, you know, zip tie it up, whatever, if the clip's broken. And then put this whole plastic piece back on here. Do the other side, put this plastic piece back on here, and we're done. What is going on? Alright, the sun went down on me. Let's see how it runs. Getting dark. Oh wow. That's way better. Yeah, definitely fixed. There's no more check engine light. And it's not dying. I'm gonna let it warm up here. I think we're pretty much done. Alright y'all, thanks for watching. So if y'all enjoyed this video, make sure to drop me a huge thumbs up down below. And don't forget to check out the links in the description, because I'll link y'all up to the O2 sensors I used on this truck and a bunch of other ones in case you don't have a 1998 Ford Ranger, which you probably don't. And I'll link to some O2 sensor removal tools too. But yeah, just go on Amazon and get them off of there, because you know the sensors, fuel pumps, stuff like that are much higher at retail stores, and it's just ridiculous. So you can save a boatload of getting all your parts on Amazon. That's what I do a lot of times. So definitely check out those links in the description, and don't forget to subscribe down below for more automotive videos in the future. Peace.